Welcome to I'm Your Target Demographic, and welcome to my review of Fallout 4 for PlayStation 4. Fallout 4 is a massive open world game created by Bethesda Softworks. For some history, I played through Fallout 3 only once, but I spent tons of time in Skyrim. This game feels very familiar in both good and bad ways. There's some interesting new twists and additions, but it feels very much like their previous outings. The gist. You play as either a man or a woman who survives a nuclear holocaust by entering a vault built under your city. It turns out that the vault is an experiment in cryogenically freezing someone for long periods of time. You wake up to see your spouse murdered and your baby child stolen. So when you finally escape the vault 200-something years in the future, that is your main objective, to find your son. You have complete freedom to roam the world and do as you please, which includes aligning yourself with various factions, building up settlements of your own, and becoming a complete badass. So what works? The combat, while familiar, is exceptional. You can either play shoot from the hip style, or you can use what's called VATS, which is a system that slows down time and allows you to pinpoint certain body parts. This can be helpful if you want to disarm someone, sometimes literally, slow them down, or just go for a headshot. I specialized in VATS, so I used it often. The coolest part of combat, though, is your weapons. Fallout 4 introduces the ability to modify your weapons as you want. I found a basic pipe gun, but gave it all sorts of upgrades to make it a decent killing machine. You can turn any weapon into a sniper rifle if you want. Most guns have options to change the ammo type in case you're running out, so it's a really deep and fun system. But to create these modifications, you need supplies like metal and adhesive. You find these in the world as you explore. You might find an object, but it can be broken down into several components. So now, all of the junk in the world is not only useful, but vital. Not only can you modify guns, but also the armor that you wear all the time, and the power armor that you wear for important and the deadliest of missions. So you'll need a lot of supplies. I found myself over-encumbered often, which means you're carrying too much, but I upgraded my clothes to allow for extra carrying capacity. As a tip, if you align yourself with the Brotherhood of Steel, they'll give you access to a vertibird that can fly in and get you. This is ideal if you're over-encumbered and can't fast travel, but you don't want to drop anything. As a bonus, while you're in the vertibird, you can shoot down on the cities, though enemies are too far away to really do any damage. Just a fun little addition. Anyways, the main story is fine in Fallout 4, but I found the side quests to be really engaging. The companions you meet are all really interesting. I found myself fully engulfed in the Brotherhood of Steel and traveled with Dance most of the time. But all of them are interesting and provide great assistance in battle. I never ran into problems with them, but sometimes they tended to lose track of me or maybe take a long way to get to where I was, sometimes leaving me to face a battle alone. That was pretty rare though. In terms of your enemies, there's enough variety to keep me engaged. From wild dogs to giant deathclaws, there's a lot in between. The super mutants are a little less intimidating this time around, as I found myself completely obliterating them at a fairly low level. This game does add new tiers of enemies though, such as a skull symbol for boss type or enemies that are higher level than you, or you might run across legendary enemies that can mutate and regain all of their lost health. If you beat these enemies though, you get legendary weapons and equipment. So what doesn't work? The other big addition to this game is the settlement system, where you can build and edit little areas that you control. Some players get really into this, building all sorts of crazy things, but I haven't spent much time in it. The addition is cool, but the how of it all is a little wacky. It doesn't really tell you how to do any of it. I found myself accidentally removing or moving pieces that I already placed, or building a wall in the wrong place, or not at all because the system somehow wouldn't let me. It's a cool idea, but it's lacking some of the details and finesse that would have made it really cool. Graphically, I've heard a lot of complaints that it looks like their past games, and it does. It's not necessarily a pretty game, but I didn't mind. I wanted a lot of content and fun mechanics. I don't mind if the visuals are maybe a step below. The lip syncing isn't good at all, but the voice acting was pretty fantastic, so it tended to balance out for me. I did encounter a few bugs and glitches, such as the game trying to aim my weapons at nearby allies, or animations that looked horrible, usually with enemies that were kind of too big for the screen. The camera didn't always put itself in the right place. I did encounter complete crashes a few times, though with a game like this you learn to save often, and luckily their quick save feature is an easy one to utilize, which helped. So overall, while some parts of the game are a little wonky and the animation isn't up to par with other AAA games this year, Fallout 4 is still one of my favorite games this year. It's full of interesting characters, really fun combat, a deep modification system for weapons, armor, and even the ability to build your own towns. The glitches and inconveniences are noticeable though, which is why I can't give Fallout 4 a solid 5. But even at a 4, it's one of the coolest experiences I've had in a long time. Hopefully after some patching, some of this can be fixed. So thanks for watching, and make sure to head over to facebook.com/IAYTD to get other reviews just like this.